I read your college essay. You clearly love Sacramento.
I do?
You write about Sacramento so affectionately and with such care.
Well, I was just describing it.
Well, it comes across as love.
Sure. I guess I pay attention.
Don't you think maybe they are the same thing? Love and attention.
I really wanted to talk about the concept of love and what love means to me. I guess I can start off by reading the piece that I wrote. Still coming up with a possibly better title. I don't know. But here it goes. What does love mean to you? To me, to love is a lot simpler than it may be to others. To me, to love is not becoming boundless, experiencing gigantic gestures and instrumenting physical touch. To me, love is quite simple, yet so incredibly rare. The purest form of love to me is to listen, to hear every single word that formulates out of a person's mouth, to hear each thought and opinion, to listen without the need to interrupt or interject, to listen without the need to rebuke, to listen from a stance of presence, not from the emotions of the past. To love is to legitimately listen to all that the individual has to share, to all that is on their mind, to respond to what they are saying and not to the emotion that is being challenged in your unhealed self, the emotion evoked due to past pain or hurt. To love is to listen without tuning into triggers, to listen without judgment. It is underestimated how much you have to hold in your heart to hear someone without expectation. No ifs, no buts, just the simple now and an open heart to all that they have to share and say. How often can you say you truly have listened to those that you love? This piece means a lot to me and really is spoken from the heart because I think it is something that I've learned probably the last few years. I feel like previously I had this expectation that I had to act a certain way or that my close friends or lovers had to also act a certain way in order to receive love. And I had to be a certain way to show that I did love. And it always felt really unnatural to me. I think that's why I've always been quite flighty when it comes to relationships or really close friendships, because I think there's like this expectation of who I'm trying to be or expectation of ways that I need to act to be loved, or being held to like certain standards that love is only available if this, this, and this. And more importantly, on myself, I feel like I've noticed how much I've also put of expectations on others. Like, I can only love you if, I can only love you if this, and that. And it's a taught behavior, I feel like we're taught that you can only love someone if they show up for you in this way. And I think that it is important to have boundaries, and I think that it is important to care and tend to yourself. I also feel, though, that we have lost the art of listening, and that is why I say it is the purest form of love, because people deserve to be heard, people deserve to be listened to, and I don't think we do that enough. And I think we are so focused on how can I show my love in like this massive, crazy way, and when you usually talk to somebody, they don't say, I love this person because they bought me all these gifts, or I love this person because they took me on vacation, or they did this. Typically, you love someone for different reasons, but a lot of times when you realize like, wow, this person really cares about me, is because what are they doing? They're attentive to the things that you've said. They're attentive to the things that you have shared with them. They are thoughtful. They can only be thoughtful because they're connecting the dots of things that you've shared, maybe through conversation, emotions that you have shared and experienced together. And I think that when I reflect on it, it is like, wow, that is the purest form of love, is just to be attentive to a person in the present moment. And it's actually made me, I think, a much better friend, but more importantly, a much better lover and person available to my daughter as well. I think specifically, you know, if in talking in terms of my relationship, I feel like it has healed so many of our wounds because I've had the chance to actually just acknowledge that, like, the person that is speaking to me right now, this is what I need to take at face value. What are they sharing with me in this present moment? What am I hearing? What are they saying? And recognizing that a lot of times we kind of tune out when we're getting triggered by someone expressing how they feel because we're associating it with past experiences and assuming what this person is actually going through repetitive behaviors that we have seen, and assuming an equation that isn't necessarily always true, right? We're almost like expecting the moves and thinking ahead and not actually ever being present. Or more importantly, we're thinking of like what we're gonna say in response to what they're saying, which again takes us away from the present of what that person is actually saying. And I think we miss out on such fine details that are really important to truly hear the person. And when you actually just accept that the other person can have emotions and feelings too, regardless of how you're feeling in that moment, that this other person, everything that they're feeling is valid and so are yours, it can heal so many arguments. And I've realized that I used to think I had to be louder to win an argument, or I had to get my point across. I had to be heard. And while I was so eager to be heard, I wasn't hearing the other person. And I think recognizing that I can love without expectation, that I can love even if somebody hurts me, and it is okay to continue to love them even if our paths have ended. Like, to no longer have an ill heart because of they didn't meet a certain expectation, and that I was able to hear them at face value for what it was today and recognize that and still love regardless of the trigger that it may have evoked from the past, is just such a wonderful thing. I think it's just such a rare thing. Like, with technology and everything that we've been, of course, given, I think has deterred our ability from being attentive in the moment. People talk to you and they pick up their phone, or people talk to you and they respond to a text. People really don't listen to individuals anymore. And I think it's what makes us feel so lost, so misunderstood, because people are, you know, they hear a few words and they go, okay, she's about to talk about this. And it's like, no, maybe there's something else going on. And if you were really just present in the moment and heard them for face value, I think it could change the world, to be honest. I think it could change a lot of things, or it could change a lot of relationships for sure. And it definitely has transformed my relationships with many people, because I've just recognized when a trigger arises, and I'm human, these things happen, I'm not saying that these don't, to take a pause and refocus back on what the person is saying. Recognize it and let it go. Let it arise and let it pass. While they're talking, don't lose focus of what else they're saying. Hear them. Even if they hurt you, it doesn't mean that they don't have feelings. And I'm talking about relationships with people that you truly value and want to sustain and want to continue having, where you want to rebuild a relationship or rebuild a friendship. And even beyond that, even just being able to, when you're excited about something, not learning to interject or not learning to get involved and just hear the person out, they start sharing a lot more about themselves. That power of the pause is insane, and how much more you get to learn about somebody. It's so beautiful, and you get to hear stories that maybe you would never have even heard of before. You know, people start sharing more and more about all the beautiful things that they've experienced because you're listening and you're there with them. I don't know if all that makes sense. I know I've just shared a lot of words and a lot of things, but I wonder what love means to you guys, because I think there's a multitude of ways that I feel love has transformed in my life since becoming a mother, but more importantly, even just through finding the world of philosophy has really gifted me with a lot of beautiful things around love, around friendship, relationship. If you want me to share it, I would love to share more and make a whole dedicated video, but to share some more thoughts around my idea of love and what it means to me. Look how cute Mr. Corey looks!
Fireflies light up in your eyes. Fireflies burning up my mind. Sitting here, huddled next to you, cause there's nowhere that I'd rather be than simply holding on to you.
Show them the hinter.
Holding on to you.
Yeah.
Holding on to you. Holding on to you. Holding on to you. You're my glorified sunshine. How fell hands go down my spine. Light is what need to come between us for me not to be holding on to you. Holding on to you. Holding on to you. Holding on to you. Fireflies, I mesmerize as we chase a smile, losing bruises from old clouds. Fireflies that light up both our eyes. Fireflies that light up both our fireflies that light up both our eyes. 'Cause there's nowhere that I'd rather be than here with you.
Hello, my loves. Since this video is about love, I wanted to talk about something I'm really excited about. Me and my friend are going to start pen paling each other. I'm so pumped for this. And this is just so on brand for this video, so that's why I wanted to share, because I'm talking about the concept of love being to listen to one another, and that is the purest form of love, in my opinion, is to truly listen to somebody. And my friend and I rekindled our friendship actually a number of years ago when I found out I was pregnant, and we reconnected. I, at that point, also found out that she was a mother, and now we are really close. But because she lives over in the UK and I live here, and there's a big hour difference, and she has not one, but a number of children to look after and tend to. Feels kind of silly saying, and I only have one, but I genuinely am already overwhelmed with one. We don't find the time to really FaceTime each other and really be present with each other when we communicate. And so I'm really excited to start pen paling her and for us to update each other via letters, because it's honestly something that I had been doing earlier in my life when I had first moved to the UK, and I was pen paling my friends back home, and we would always send each other letters. And I was really geeked about it because I had grown up really without technology, and I remember coming to the UK and everyone being consumed by it, and I was like, this is so strange, because I was in such a little bubble away from it. So I loved that. I'm really excited to have a friend who's also as excited about writing as I am and to communicate. And the first thing, I obviously want to write her a letter, but the other piece that I want to do is I want to crochet a little like heart for her, I think, like a little keychain heart. That's my plan. So my goal is to ship it out on Monday. I'm going to update her. I want to make sure I get some Polaroid pictures of Yara and like update her on like little life things, and then I want to add a few little cute little gifts. I think I'll do a keychain, and I think I'm gonna get her a little crystal as well, a little protection crystal or something that's love. She's an Aries, so I feel like I could give her maybe some rose quartz, because Aries can always do with some rose quartz, I feel like. Or I'm feeling right now the pull to get her a little protection stone. So maybe some tiger's eye? I don't know. I'm so excited. So I'm going to do that. Right now I need to search first the pattern for a little crochet heart. Honestly, I feel like it should be pretty simple. Ugh, it requires me to make a magic ring, guys. If you're crocheting, I don't know why, but the magic ring, the initial part, I got to a point a few years ago where I nailed it. I haven't crocheted in a little while, and I already know this magic ring is gonna drive me crazy. I found my pattern. I have my yarn. I have this yarn from like a very aspirational time in my life where I got so much yarn because I have like 2 more of these. I was like, I'm gonna make a sweater. No. Got it. I'm so excited. I haven't crocheted in so long. I think motherhood has just totally consumed me. I haven't had the opportunity to... Why won't it let me take this out? Let me see something. Let me see. Let me see. Alrighty, my friends. This part really stresses me out. 3, and then I have to do, oh my god, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Guys. I'm stressed. I'm actually stressed. Oh, I'm so dumb. The treble crochet is this. What is this? I haven't crocheted in 2 years, and I'm like really failing. Guys, that was painful, but we're here. We're here. I finally figured out what a treble crochet was, so we got it. I just needed someone that could explain it well. You know when people just start doing stuff and you're like, what? What does that mean? Two, and then we go through 2, and then we go through 2. Yeah. I'll be back when it's done. We'll see if we can trust the process. Does this look like a heart? I need to cut this, and then I'm gonna do a little like, it's a little walkie. Anyway, it's a little bit of a walkie heart, but I think it's kind of cute, right? And then she can just do that, and she can add it on to her little purses. Becky, I might send you this one just so you could have the walkie one and then the beautiful one. This is my first day back. We're good. I feel like I'm gonna get back into it. We had hope. I didn't have hope, but it's look, it's not bad. Say bye, Daddy.
Leaving hot, I can't look back. I fly to new places to keep my head right, miscommunicate. I lost my patience, constant thoughts consumed by words. I tried to keep up with you, can't cry. Always reinstate that I lost my patience. I've been moving on.
It has been so cold that it being like 6 degrees Celsius, I think that's like 40 degrees, makes it feel warm outside. It's absolutely insane. So usually I would like head home with Yara, but she's fallen asleep, so I'm like, let me just walk through the park a little bit and just be hugged by all the trees. I feel like such a new human being when I'm outside, especially living in New York. I feel like there just isn't a lot of nature really anywhere. Luckily where we live, like I feel like it is a little bit more neighborhoody and like less city feel like, but still I can like get totally consumed by the day-to-day noise of the city, and so it's like very refreshing coming back to the stillness of nature.
Like, when I used to be really, really, really low, I used to get very triggered when people would tell me, like, all you really need to do is go outside for a walk and you'll feel better. And I was like, no, that's not true. And I was like totally consumed by the fact that that just was not possible. But I will say there's a lot of love that I feel nature has to give. And if you really allow yourself to receive it and be present in it, it is so absolutely amazing. Like, that we get to be gifted with this beauty is absolutely insane to me. Like, we're so lucky. And I feel like we take it for granted because it just exists. But have you ever like sat with it and actually just stared into like the abyss and been like, holy cow, look at how freaking wonderful these trees are, like how massive they actually are, and how like I feel like it just makes you feel regrounded. Like, I grew up so much because I grew up like in the mountains. I think watching like Yara's little shows makes me remember how blessed I was as a little kid to have that sense of freedom and the ability to truly actually be outdoors so much, because I was able to literally like tell my parents, bye, I'll be back. And mind you, I'm like 9 years old. And I don't know if it's like that safe anymore, but when I was a kid, we were able to literally just go out into the mountains, into the forest, and play all day long. And like, I didn't even realize at the time how lucky I was until now that I live in a city and I'm also with somebody that grew up in New York. It makes me realize like, wow, they didn't really have that luxury. And I feel like it brought me so much peace, and it allowed me to really play into a lot of my imagination. And it's so funny because me and my friend to have like a healing tree where we would go to, like whenever we felt nauseous or sick or unwell, we would like climb this tree and we would sit on top of it. And I swear it made us feel better. And we had the same with this little river that led into a waterfall, and we would go to it all the time whenever we felt sad. And there was something about the energy around it that allowed us to just feel really comfortable and open to sharing to each other like what was going on in our lives. And I remember when I moved away and I grew up and I was with individuals probably when I was like 14 or 15 that hadn't really grown up in that environment. And I would share these stories, like people literally thought I was crazy. And I think I kind of pushed it down a little bit because I was like, okay, I guess this isn't normal, or maybe it was just like imagination. And then the older I've gotten, I've realized like how much like energetic calmness the wilderness actually does give you. And it's not crazy to think of how held and how comfortable and how healing it actually is. And it makes sense why I think individuals who live the longest, or individuals who have the most sense of peace in their life, end up living in areas that are actually surrounded by so much wilderness, because it's peaceful and it's good for our nervous system, and a calm nervous system is what allows us to live more comfortably and more in line with what we are meant to be doing. You know, I think that dis-ease or disease is caused by dis-ease, and the wilderness gives us a ton of ease. So I think that's why there's so much illness in places of high mental load and stress that is induced in a population like New York City. Anyway, long rant to say, you need to tap into the loving energy that the trees in the world has to give you, because it is absolutely beautiful.
I've been moving on. Lost in the dark, help me out. I'm suffocating on the thoughts. I can't turn all the memories off. I've lost my patience, hold my hand out, reach up and I grasp onto that little light. I might just lose my patience.
I'm getting a tattoo. I'm very excited. I haven't gotten tatted since right before I found out I was pregnant, and that's when I was doing my that's when I was getting my sleeve done. I only got obviously half my arm finished, and then I found out I was pregnant, so I couldn't do anything else. So now I'm really excited to finally be getting this freaking space here on my arm filled, because it's been driving me crazy, and have it start going into my chest. I've been wanting to get my chest tatted for a really long time, so I feel like this is going to be a nice introduction to it. And if I like her, I want to eventually go back and have her do 2 symmetrical tattoos on my collarbones here and over my shoulders, because I really like the idea of like having 2 of the same here and here. At least there, that's kind of what I'm thinking. But right now, she does this like cool abstract type art of like smoke and flowers onto my chest, and it's gonna fill up that space so nicely, and I'm so excited.
Many eyes screaming, please advise. My heart is beating, try to flee. I criticize
It
myself
actually is
too
perfect. The placement is perfect. I ended up not going into my chest because I loved her so much that I was like, I want to get a chest piece by you, and I really want her to do a symmetrical piece for me, so I want 2 of the same things to come here. I don't know if they have to necessarily be identical, but the same vibe. Identical would be cool, but she did such an awesome job, and she filled out this place here that's been empty for me perfectly. So I'm
criticize myself too